Yeah, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. Go ahead, get this channel, subscribe, share, leave some messages or comments, hit the thumbs up for the like, notification bell to be informed on all episodes when they drop. Most importantly, if you enjoy this content, please feel free to share it. Sharing is caring. Share it to your family, your friends, your coworkers, anywhere and everywhere in your social media platforms. Let's get this raw and uncut material out there to the millions that don't know we are here. Have you ever had a pet rat? Or pet rats? It can't, this analogy that I'm trying to put out can't work unless you've had rats. Like pet rats. Like more than one, like 2 or 3 in a cage. You starve them for a little while. You drop down a piece of cheese and you watch them all fight over it. You ever wondered why they do this? You never had like a gerbil, a hamster, mice, anything like that? They're all kind of the same type of a thinking, right? They're like scavenger-like rodents that try to look for anything in order to survive. It's basically the reason why the term rat came into existence for people that snitch, because they'll do anything to survive. You know what I'm saying? I never had pet rats myself, but my sisters have. My nieces have. I think even one of my nephews have had one, but not me. Not interested in watching the lifespan of rodents before my eyes in a cage. Why would I need pet rats when I have to worry about rats in the streets? Or I have to worry about rats in anything that I do when I was running amok in the criminal world, when I was wreaking havoc and creating chaos. Why would I want a pet rat when I got a whole bunch of rats all around me in some way, shape, or form? We all do when you're in the streets. Just the way it is in this day and age. Case in point, the so-called or alleged feud between Snoop Dogg and Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's a stunt. Snoop Dogg is like the OG in this rap world, and a lot of these younger rappers, pay him a lot of homage because he's one of the pioneers. He's one of the earlier ones. He's actually one of the earlier ones. The earliest ones were of course, Too Short, NWA, Ice-T, all them kinds of people. All actors, all music performers. Not very many of them real gangsters. Outside of maybe somebody like Eazy-E or C Murder or fools like that. Too Short was a band geek. Dr. Dre used to wear makeup and was in a band called The Wrecking Crew. Ice Cube was never even a gang member. I always known all this stuff since I was young. I learned a lot of the things that I learned. My schooling, the game and stuff that I was given was from a whole different group of people outside of entertainment. My father, my grandfather, my uncles were all Teamsters, union ball breakers that probably did a lot of work for various different mobs. Comes with the territory. My uncles on my mom's side tipped up in one way or the other. Big homies, people all around me my whole life. I even remember one time that I told on my little sister when I was little. I had to have been about, 10, 11 years old. I think I told this story before. My grandfather smacked the shit out of me. My dad didn't say anything about it. He agreed with it. He told me straight up, he says, don't ever be a punk and rat on anybody, especially not anybody in your family. That shit stuck with me, man, because my grandfather was like a role model for me. He was an icon in my life, a superhero. The man survived World War II, Korea, and the first part of Vietnam. Been shot several times, was trapped in a burning tank and made his way out when everybody else died. Distinguished Service Cross, Bronze Star, Silver Star, Purple Heart twice. Hero. This man's telling me don't snitch. And that stuck with me my whole entire life. And I could never see myself snitching. Just not in my nature. But these are the kind of people that I learned from. it put me one step ahead of a lot of other people around me. There were other kids in my circle that had that same kind of schooling. But a lot of these dudes that ran around in my generation, the generation next after us, and then this final generation, this generation Y, why are we so entitled to have everything given to us, that generation? A lot of these people were actually schooled by rappers and Hollywood actors and Hollywood stuntmen and WWE superstars and all that kind of bullshit. And it's obvious just by looking how people carry themselves in the streets. It's no wonder that this S&Y PC type culture is so powerful. Because you got people like Snoop Dogg that was a rat way back when. And I remember when he was a rat. I remember when he got that. Some of my boys remember him when he was at Wayside crying like a little baby, man. A pussy. When he was in jail. Couldn't handle it when he was over there at Wayside. He comes out talking about, yeah, I'm pushing the line and all that same type of bullshit that Tekashi 6ix9ine does. He was the Tekashi 6ix9ine of the 90s. Now, here's my take on all of this right here. I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. Do I think it's real or not? I don't know, and I don't really care. But here's my whole thing of it is. People talk about, hey, man, don't you know that Snoop Dogg was a rat? Tupac was a rat. This and this and that and that and this. Okay. I listen to their music. I enjoy the entertainment they provide in their music. And that's it. I don't really care how they live their personal life. When I go to a fancy restaurant to eat a nice meal with whatever date I'm with, whoever I'm with, right? The waiter comes out and awesome service from the waiter. The chef cooks up a bomb-ass filet mignon, all that stuff. I could care less if both of them are dressing up in gimp suits and they're butt-fucking each other on their regular off hours. I don't care what they do. I don't care if they're rats. I don't care if they're cops in their free time. I don't care. They make a mean steak and they do some good service and they have a good table-side sense of humor and attitude when serving my meal, and that's all they're there for. Same thing with these rappers. Same thing with these actors. They're entertainers. You know, a lot of old-time mobsters were asking, what do you think of Frank Sinatra? Because he used to run around with them all. He was the old school, like, kind of like rap gangster of his day. He was a singer. He was a musician. Nobody really cared what he thought or what he was or what he did. Nobody followed him around and was like, damn, what's old Frank up to? Get your ass up on the stage and sing me a goddamn song while I'd fucking crack open a bottle of this Don. That's all them mobsters used to care about. These actors and these celebrities and these musicians and stuff, they're just there to entertain me. I enjoy their music. I don't care what they do in their personal life. Would I cut it up with them on the streets and run amok in the streets with them and do a lick with them? Absolutely not. But I used to see the mindset in a lot of the people that I ran with in the streets, man. They used to start quoting these musicians. They used to start acting like these actors. You know what I mean? Mimicking them. Learning their game from them. It's like, damn, man, we're going to go out and bust a lick. Somebody's got to put on a fucking Spice One album and get some guidance before they go out and do it. Couple of tips maybe on how to make it work right. You're dealing with entertainers. You know this, right? None of these people are really that real. I already understand this. Do I personally like Tekashi 6ix9ine? No. Have I really listened to any of his music? Not really. But he's not from my generation, so I'm not really interested in him. I talk about how he's a snitch and how he's teaching a lot of people to be a snitch. This whole mindset, this whole PC mindset that's out there now. It's okay to be a PC. It's okay to be a snitch. It's okay to take everybody down with you. It's okay to expose game. It's okay to talk about all these things. It's okay to blab your mouth. Have your camera out while you're committing a crime. It's okay now. It's okay to talk about what you're going to do to the next person. I'm going to beat this fool's ass. I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to do all that. Meet me over here. I'm on the corner of fucking 32nd and Figueroa. Meet me over here. That kind of shit. But way back in the day, people like Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, you know what I'm saying? Various other mobsters way back in the 20s, the 30s and 40s and stuff like that. They used to talk a lot of shit too. When people used to talk shit to them, they used to talk shit back. They would have their own personal feuds. Talking bad about each other, sitting over at the Cotton Club or any other place like that. Just chopping it up, talking shit about the next one. If they would have had a social media back then, they probably would have been on it busting videos out too. But they wouldn't have been exposing all this game. They wouldn't have been fucking going into detail about what they're going to do to another person. They just handle their business. You can have entertainment and talk about relative things regarding whatever feud or conflict you may be having without exposing any details or going into detail about what to do. But there was a time when somebody like myself and many other people, like if you disrespected me, I'm just bringing it to you, man. I'm not going to talk about it. But nowadays, everybody talks about it. Everybody fucking goes back and forth and bickers with each other. A lot of these dudes nowadays, a lot of them are a lot younger than me. And they didn't have a lot of this OG guidance. They didn't have a lot of strong, fools in the game guiding them. All them dudes are locked up in prison or dead. And if they did happen to come across any of them in some kind of a yard where they got banged off or they became a witness or got smashed out some way, their mindset was completely different by that time. They weren't really educating anybody around them. These rappers and these actors and all that stuff are not really educating any of these people. It's one of the main reasons why I've taken the approach that I've taken and gone the direction that I've gone in trying to help break people free from this incarcerated state of mind. To pry loose a lot of these young men and women from the game, because it's not the game anymore, man. You can't really call it a game anymore. You know what it is? It's a trap. And it's really always been a trap, but now it's definitely a trap. Because your own best friend that's been cutting it up with you all this time is going to be the one that turns you in. People in your family are going to turn you in. But all these young men and women, they get on, they idolize somebody like Tekashi 6ix9ine or any of these other rappers that you hear about, or any of these actors or entertainers or Hollywood figures or anything like that. These people that put on the good optical illusion with the tattoos and all that stuff like that, come out starring roles in Sons of Anarchy or Mayans MC or anything like that, or the movie Shot Caller or whatnot. They're all actors. They're not real. And most of that shit would never even fly. But a lot of these kids look up to somebody like Tekashi 6ix9ine, and it's sad that this man is teaching them all it's okay to be a rat. It's okay to be a PC and all that stuff like that. Get what you can and step on everybody and cut everybody's throat on the way down. Take everyone down with you kind of mentality. This is why I've done previous videos in the past. Because hopefully I wake up somebody's mind to think that, why don't you, if you're going to be in this game, why don't you and your crew become the elite in that game and learn some guidance from some real people that have been in the streets, some real motherfuckers. Not these rappers. Don't learn game from these rappers. They're fake. They're phonies. That's always been my thing. I'm always the kind of person that's like, I want to help you stay alive. Right? I want to help you stay alive if you're going to go in the system. If you're going to go into the prison system, let me at least help you to stay alive a little bit and give you some kind of guidance, give you a little bit of game and a little bit of insight into how you can maintain all the way through. You have to ask yourself, how did I remain GP all the way to the very end? How come I didn't get myself in a wreck? How come I didn't get myself stabbed or banged off a yard? How come I didn't run up fucking a debt and run off the yard to the program office? How did I make it through all the way through the state and the feds? I could give you some of these things, but they're easy. You know what they are? They're keeping your mouth shut. They're minding your own business. They're having some integrity. They're having some honesty. They're keeping your circle small. They're not fucking demanding that you be given a spot on a pedestal somewhere higher up in the mesa. They're all these things of by maintaining a low profile, but not so low to where people think you're weak or hiding, but just staying under the radar and doing you. You don't have to do anything crazy if you're not involved in all that shit. Yeah, that shit might have to come to you one day. But understand in your mind that maybe it might have to come to you one day. And that's the opportunity for you to say, do you really want this? This is the choice you're making for your life. Do I want to be incarcerated for the rest of my life, or do I want to get out and have a family? You're thinking in your young mind, thinking, I want to be a G. I want to get all this paper. I want to have all these nice things. I want to have all this clout and all this status over everybody else. I want to be on top. Understand what you are about ready to sacrifice in order to get there. And you may never get there. You may be dusted off. You may end up doing a life sentence. You take everybody down with you, all that stuff goes out the window because now you're looked at as a snitch and somebody that can't be trusted. Even if you get out, you'll never be nothing ever again because you're not Tekashi 6ix9ine with millions of dollars and the celebrity elite power structure hovering over you like mother hen. You're just a regular dude, man, that made a fucking mistake. You know, one time I did the math. With everything that I was doing, all the money and everything that I made, all the way up to a certain point, and in such a short time, a couple of years, 2-3 years or whatever, right? I put that in a side-by-side comparison. If I was making $15 an hour working as, I don't know, in a warehouse, working at FedEx, making $15 an hour for the rest of my life, I actually made more money in however much taxes I paid, 401k, retirement plans, pension, the money that I saved, the money that I might have invested. And I actually doubled the money I made in those 2 years by living that good life all the way through. That's what really started to open my eyes. I wasted years of my life. That's why I don't have a family to show for it. You know what I mean? And I see a lot of these dudes out there with kids and with wives and all that, and they're still fucking bumping their gums and doing all kinds of shit all over the place, in the streets and social media, whatnot. And I have to ask them, dog, don't you got a kid? Don't you have a family? Why are you even in this, man? You're done. You're a family man at this point. Get to doing that. That's what a real G does at this point. The bottom line to all this is these celebrities are nothing for you to model your lives after because they're all actors. They entertain you with their music. They entertain you with their movies. That's it. Why are you going to let them influence your life? They don't even have control over their own lives. Their managers, their promoters, the government, the feds, everybody has control of them. They don't have control of their own life. You think Tekashi 6ix9ine has control over his own life? Yeah, he's all these flash and all these things like that, but when the camera turns off, he's probably crying because he has no control over his life. He can't do what he wants or go where he wants or live the way he wants. None of them really can. None of them really have a control of their own lives. The whole world controls them. They're entertainers. Let them entertain you, but don't let them guide you to dictate what your principles are or to motivate you for anything other than to vote, to act, or anything like that. Listen to their music, watch their movies, clap, and then tell them to get the fuck out of your face. Be like the mobsters used to tell Frank Sinatra. Yeah, Frankie, get up there and fucking sing, man. We don't want to fucking hear what you're talking about. You ain't no gangster. Get your fucking bitch ass up there and start singing. Be like that. Don't take them serious for anything. Watch it, be entertained, and that's basically all I want to say about it. I know I went on a rant with it, but this is what I do, right? Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, non sugarcoat, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality, and I'm out.